Suddenly, the 2016 campaign seems to be all about Bush, and I don't mean Jeb. George W. Bush, who's assiduously avoided the spotlight since leaving office nearly 8 years ago, now the subject of attacks, and he's answering back. This all began, of course, with Donald Trump attacking the former president as a way of getting at his brother. And we saw this on the debate stage in South Carolina. Trump talking about Bush and Iraq and how it was a big, fat mistake, and then going a step further and saying they lied, the Bush administration lied about Saddam having weapons of mass destruction. Well, certainly the Bush administration was wrong about Iraq and WMD, but the idea that this was a deliberate lie, an intentional fabrication in order to justify the war, Bush lied, people died, has mostly been uttered by extremists on the Democratic left. Trump walked that back just a little bit the day or two after the debate. Trump also going after Bush on 9/11 because when Jeb comes back, and Trump has said this before, but it seems to have gotten a lot more attention under that debate spotlight. When Jeb says, my brother kept the country safe, Trump comes back and says, yeah, but the Twin Towers fell down while he was in office. There was, of course, a debate about whether the Bush administration could have been prepared, being in office less than 8 months, for those attacks by Osama bin Laden that had been planned for years. So George W. Bush, his foreign policy, his presidency, very much in the spotlight. And what was so unusual here, of course, was seeing a Republican candidate for president attacking the previous Republican president at a GOP debate. Now, George Bush stepped into the spotlight, of course, when his brother had him come to a rally in South Carolina. He had previously done some fundraising and written a letter or made statements on Jeb's behalf. But here he comes and he takes a whack at Donald Trump without mentioning him by name, talking about those who channel and inflame anger and how we don't need that kind of person in the Oval Office. Now, the conventional wisdom among pundits was that all this was going to hurt Trump because George W. Bush, popular in South Carolina among Republicans. I'm not so sure because it's pretty clear by now that Trump is running against the Republican establishment, and what says establishment more than the Bushes, as much as he is running against the Democrats, and he's not running as a doctrinaire conservative. So far, the polls don't show a major drop for Trump, but he did get criticized by the likes of Rush Limbaugh for sounding like a Democrat. He even offered a partial defense of Planned Parenthood. So it's just fascinating that George W. Bush, who left office pretty unpopular in the wake of a financial meltdown and the Iraq mess, now his record is being debated in this campaign as much as Jeb's record, as much as Trump's record, and we will find out whether or not going after the 43rd president is a good idea for a candidate who wants to be the 45th president.